Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Today I want to share my Coogi and Coogi-inspired collection of sweaters. I first got exposed to Coogi as a brand through my parents who happened to own Coogi sweaters. It was always a piece in their closet that I loved. And then I made a connection when I was going through like a biggie phase and he mentioned the Coogi brand, and of course he's iconically known for that one shot. Coogi's an Australian brand that has been around for a really long time, and they're known for really intricate sweaters. Although they do make other items now, like shoes and jackets and pants and whatnot. But I think their most iconic pieces are colorful patterned wool sweaters. I do have to say, over the years, Coogi sweaters and Coogi-esque sweaters have gained in popularity. I see thrift stores hiking up the prices every year. I think on average, Coogi sweaters go anywhere from like $220 to $300. But I'm proud to say I've gotten all of them for less than that price. And because they were so trendy at one point, there are a lot of other brands that make Coogi-inspired sweaters as well. I like to collect those as well, as long as they're the right material. So without further ado, let me introduce you to my first one. This is the sweater that was in my mom's closet that I always looked at growing up and admire. And I'm so grateful that she gave this to me. It is arguably the loudest thing in my closet, but I absolutely love it. It is incredibly thick and warm and perfect amount of cinch at the waist that allows this like bellowy look. It might be my favorite Coogi sweater that I have in my collection, just because of its history, but also because the colors and the design is just so perfect. There was a time in my life where I didn't wear a lot of color. I was actually quite afraid of it, and this sweater just sat in my closet for a long time. I admired it, but I didn't have the guts to actually wear it. But I'm happy to say now I don't care. I don't care about having a perfectly neutral closet anymore. And I'm happy to say that I wear this quite often. This is my latest Coogi sweater purchase. I bought this last year in San Francisco. And you wouldn't be able to tell that this is Coogi right away because it doesn't have that traditional vertical wavy pattern that Coogi's known for. Nonetheless, it is an incredible pattern and definitely more oversized than the previous one. So it's a bit cozier, although it's just as thick, just as substantial as the previous one. I love that this allows me to wear red, which is a color that I absolutely love, but I don't always look the best in. This is a Coogi sweater that I got from the Realreal, and it's actually made out of cotton. And as you can see, it is a cardigan. What's really special about this one is that the bottom is not straight like a typical cardigan. It has this roundness that I think makes it really special and look great with high-waisted jeans. The subtle C in this green button is incredible. When it comes to buying vintage items, buttons are one of the things that bring me so much joy, because I feel like nowadays people don't really pay attention to buttons anymore, and if they do, they're made out of cheap plastic. Because it's cotton and it's a little bit lighter of a weight, I like to wear this like a layer when it's warmer outside. This is another cotton Coogi cardigan, and arguably the sweater that I wear the most often, just because the color is a little bit more muted and easier to style. This one I think was a men's one because it's quite long. If I actually bring it down, it almost covers my butt, but I rarely wear it like that. I will always kind of tuck it and wear it like this. I love this sweater because it's got the warmth of the beige and the brown, but the coolness from the white, black, and the gray that makes it really versatile in terms of tones. The buttons, although not as intricate as the one before, are still very pretty. This almost like pearlescent gray. This one is not in the best condition in that, you know, some of the threads coming out. But what's great about these sweaters is that you can just poke the thread on the other side and make that tighter. But also a little bit of imperfection gets hidden behind this intricate design, that if you have a little bit of a pull or a loose thread, it's really easy to hide. This is not a Coogi sweater, clearly inspired by Coogi though, and this is the largest one that I have. It's so long that it actually goes, I mean, I can't even show you. It goes to my knee. So I actually wear this as a dress more often. It's 100% cotton. It is clearly stunning. You see a lot of brands copying Coogi, and some brands do it better than others. Some brands just commit to the vertical, colorful stripes, but some brands will actually add the texture that makes it really Coogi. This sweater actually does have that texture. It's not as much as Coogi, but you can see that some lines are 3D, which is what makes this sweater a lot more interesting than your average sweater. I love this sweater because even though it's so big, it actually has a really nice drape to it, so it doesn't ever look overwhelming. This is also not a Coogi sweater, although it still has those stripes, the 3D knit, and it's from a brand called Tundra Canada, which is a brand that you will frequent if you're looking for these types of sweaters. I also wear this one a lot just because it's a little bit more muted and it's in my color palette. It's one of my oversized ones, so if I do actually bring it down, it covers my butt completely, but like all my other sweaters, I like to have it tucked. I think it just balances out my proportions a little bit better. This is a color palette that I haven't really seen in the secondhand market, so I find it so unique. Also, because it's cotton, I can just throw it in the wash. I do like to put these sweaters in a mesh bag that doesn't get caught on any other things. The wool sweaters, however, I will dry clean just because I don't have a fancy washing machine that can handle wool. Yeah, Tundra is a brand that I highly recommend. They tend to make the sweaters in cotton, but always check the fabric composition just in case. Now, arguably, this sweater is the least Coogi-esque sweater in that it doesn't have the like wavy pattern. But I still wanted to put this in the category because I wanted to introduce this brand. This brand I've seen time and time again in vintage stores, and they have a lot of sweaters that have the horizontal stripes with a bit of wave that embody that essence of Coogi without directly copying it, which I really appreciate. This sweater, I just checked, and I'm so surprised. It's made out of 65% acrylic and 35% nylon. Had I come across this sweater more recently, I probably wouldn't have bought it because it's acrylic, and I just don't like that material at all. But I did buy this like maybe almost 8 years ago, and it has worn beautifully. So maybe there's a lesson in here somewhere about how it's not always about the fabric, but how well it's made. The design's not as intricate, so I don't feel like I need to be really careful about getting a thread pulled. Also, it's beautiful. How can you not love the sweater? This one is longer, but because it doesn't have a cinched bottom or like a tight enough waistband, I can't just keep it up like this. However, the sweater is thin enough that I can just tuck it into my jeans and it will stay up. I actually came across this exact sweater the other day, and I almost thought about getting it because I love this sweater so much, but that just seemed excessive. I just plan on doing like a Google image search when it's time to replace the sweater, and hopefully I'll have some luck. All right, that was my entire Coogi and Coogi-inspired collection of sweaters. Even though these sweaters might not seem the most wearable, they bring me so much joy. There was a point where I actually had to remind myself to buy some solid color sweaters because it just, these sweaters don't work with every single outfit that you want to wear. Nonetheless, I'm always on the hunt for Coogi, and I hope you were inspired by my collection. And if you didn't know Coogi before, that you are introduced to this wonderful brand. See you next time. Bye.